Dear friends, 21st century education is uh, actually the educators must have several skills because education is changing, the world is changing, even educational um, pedagogies are changing, students are also changing, and therefore several skills has to be part and parcel of every educator. And many of you are familiar with the 21st century skills. For example, critical thinking. Critical thinking is our ability to analyze information, reason effectively, and solve problems. Because uh, informations are plenty for our students and our world. The second aspect is called collaboration. We are living in a world where we cannot live on our own. We need to collaborate with various people, and therefore our children has to be taught to collaborate with others and also uh, and solve problems they face. A lot of modern way of understanding about literacy is very very important because it is our ability to identify and interpret accurate data, separate misinformation from reality, and communicate information effectively because we have been fed with plenty of information through electronic media, through mass media, through social media. And we need to understand, we need to be capable of filtering it, which one is better, which one is good for us, etc. That's why this literacy is very important and it is very intimately related to media literacy because today we are living in a world of fake news. Plenty of misinformation comes to us according to the whims and fancies of the media groups. And therefore, we need to have the ability to evaluate sources critically and separate fact from fiction. It's very, very important for every educator. And if we are not able to, educator is not able to distinguish between what is good and what is bad, then how can our students be able to do so? Another skill, 21st century skills, is called problem solving, the ability to handle challenges. We are all every day and every moment we face with various challenges, and therefore we need to have the ability to handle these challenges and also solve the problems. Uh, we need to have creativity. In fact, the national education policy also talk about all these things. The ability to think through information in new ways, make connections, and come up with innovative solutions. It's very pertinent and important for our educators today. Digital literacy, unavoidable. That is the ability to use new teaching technologies. No? You cannot have old model teaching anymore. As I used to say, we cannot run old schools in new buildings. We need to have new ways, new pedagogies, new technologies. So that is why digital literacy is very, very important for us. Another important aspect is cultural competency. We need to have the ability to have a cultural competence because we are living in a multicultural society. Whether anywhere in the world, we have this interaction between different cultures and groups. So cultural competency is very, very important and understanding that every culture is good. Emotional intelligence, the ability to be emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence, we say today we see children are behaving strangely, very strange. Sometimes they are like, touch me not. Sometimes they have no emotional balance. Sometimes they end their lives with silly reasons. Another important aspect of the 21st century skill is fostering creativity and innovation. NEP, National Education Policy 2020 of India, talks about creativity and innovation. Creativity and innovation, in fact, the ability to encourage creativity and innovation in students, and everyone has the capacity to be innovative. We need to identify and encourage them. That's all. When we look at all these skills have been put into four areas, if you look at that way, we can say technological literacy is very, very important. That is familiarity with the digital tools, platforms, and resources to enhance teaching and learning. The second is critical thinking, ability to analyze information, evaluate evidence, and solve complex problems. Do not gulp whatever comes to us through various media, especially social media and the mass media. The third area is called creativity, encouraging innovation, imagination, and originality in students is very, very important. That's why that's a major third area in which we have seen many other points before. Collaboration, ability to work effectively with the colleagues, students, and parents to achieve common goals. These are the four areas of 21st century skills, if you put it into four major categories. But I also say a student centered approach, all of us must adopt. Pope Francis, in his uh, educational compact, he compacted very nicely. He says that personalized learning, uh, human beings are the center of education. We need to have cura personalis, as Jesuit education talks about. Student centered approach is very important. That means each student should be identified, and according to their needs and their traits, their learning styles, we need to respond to them. It's a tailoring instructions to meet the diverse needs, interests, and abilities of each student. And second is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is, I think, today we need to pay more attention to that. That is to recognize and supporting the emotional and social needs of every student. A student autonomy has to be respected, encouraging students to take ownership of their learning, make choices, and develop self-directed skills. And finally, feedback and assessment, providing regular constructive feedback and using assessment data to inform instructions, etc. Very important. Another area which I already mentioned as a 21st century skills, I thought it's very important for us to have a cultural competence and inclusivity, especially in the context of ours in India and in Asia. Cultural awareness is very important. Understanding and appreciating the diverse backgrounds, experiences, and perspective of each student is immensely helpful, and it is unavoidable for a modern educator. The second one is inclusive practices, don't exclusive practices, no? Creating a welcoming and inclusive learning environment that values diversity and promotes equity. So inclusive practices in all our realms of education. Do not discriminate anyone in the name of anything. There should be inclusiveness. Social justice is very important. Addressing issues of social justice, equality, and human rights in the classroom are beyond. When I was JES secretary, we started in the schools human rights education in many of our schools, and they are continuing that. Very, very important to have human rights awareness, social justice awareness, no? And education without encouraging students to do justice is cannot be complete. So that's why social justice is important. Language support is also important for every students who are learning English or any particular language. As an additional language, we need to teach them. Uh, So learning support, language support is very, very crucial for today's students. So that means cultural competence and inclusivity includes cultural awareness, inclusive practices, social justice, and language support. Let's see. Professional growth development is also for a modern teacher is unavoidable. Professional growth development means continuous learning should be there. That is why CPD in the new education policy talks about 50 hours of training for every teacher, etc. We need to be up to date with educational pedagogies. For example, engaging in ongoing professional development to stay current with the practices, research, and technologies is so vital for a good teacher. Every good educator must have a continuous learning. You cannot have what you learned in the past and continue the same thing. That's all over. Today, children are very advanced and availability of information, knowledge is there for them. So we need to update ourselves and become more and more effective teachers. The second area of professional growth is reflection and self-assessment. Regularly reflecting on teaching practices, assessing their effectiveness, and making data driven decisions is also so important. Collaborative professionalism. We cannot be completely self sufficient. We cannot have, considering ourselves as a separate entity. We need to work collaboratively. Today, the modern concept is interdisciplinary. You know, interdisciplinary. We need to have uh, collaboration with other colleagues to share knowledge, their expertise, and resources. And the fourth point is leadership and mentoring. Every educator must take a leadership role, mentoring role, and contributing to the development of the teaching profession. Every one of us must be good at these areas. The fourth area is well-being and self-care. That is Saint Ignatius of Loyola will say, "Cura personalis," care of each individual, because each individual is different. Each individual's learning uh, style will be different. Their intelligence will be different. Their interest will be different. Capabilities are different. So we need to understand. For example, physical and mental well-being of each child, prioritizing physical and mental health. That's why today we talk about holistic health, recognizing the importance of self-care and stress management in education. So a modern teacher, modern educator will be very much caring for this aspect. Work-life balance, work-life balance, maintaining a healthy balance between work and personal life, avoiding burnout and compassion fatigue. Sometimes people are too much working, multitasked. They do at a time so many things and so many responsibilities, and finally they get to burned out feeling. Then there is no interest afterwards to teach, and they will lose their interest. Another important aspect is resilience and adaptability. Resilience is very important. Developing coping strategies, being adaptable, and demonstrating resilience in the face of challenges and change. Every educator must be having this adaptability and resilience. And finally, a modern educator is expected of having positive relationships, not negative, building and maintaining positive relationship with students, colleagues, parents, um, and whatever we call it, our stakeholders, recognizing the importance of social connections and support. A good educator must be having a very good PR, public relationships. So, my dear educators, if you follow these things, like well-being and self-care, as I said earlier, your professional growth and development, your cultural competency, your student-centered approach, and also the sum and summary of all the aspects of the 21st century skills, you will become a great educator for the modern times, because students, as I said, look for teachers who can touch their lives, not simply imparting knowledge. Students are looking for teachers who can give them a guidance. And teachers should be mentor. There is a very famous book where you will find Barefoot Counselor. Barefoot counselor means you may not have a what you call counseling certificate or clinical psychology certificate or diploma and so on, but every teacher, by being a teacher, must be a mentor to students. By being as an educator, you are supposed to be a good mentor to your students. If you follow all these things, I think 21st century education must be more meaningful, and we as educators will really, really touch the lives of many people and contribute not only their future, but also a future of education. Thank you very much, and continue to be good educators. May God bless you all.